sicknesses, unless you're born with it, are self-brought on. And it's like God saying, I'm giving you a cold, you're wrong. Get right. Won't do it. You go to a pharmaceutical place, you buy aspirin, or to a doctor, and he snuffs it, he hides it, white doctors. And it works, you're happy. Then you get a flu, even worse, because you still haven't taken care of the true problem. You're still out of step with the Creator. But it wasn't until just about 3.5 weeks ago that I finally was able to get rid of that holding that causes diabetes, like stress causes ulcers, the holding to be Mr. or Mrs. Nice Guy or Nice Gal, not speaking out when you're offended, don't want to start a quarrel or even talk anything out logically. At least my sister and I were able to talk. And you hold that. And the more you hold, the more it's growing inside you. Next thing you know, you've got bleeding ulcers. Go to the doctor, get it sewn up, or whatever they do. It's still not going to take care of the problem. It will come out in another form. If not, bleeding ulcers again. Because Dad's trying to get your attention. Well, I finally got it squared away. Something I've held since I was 4 years old. I've looked for 2 men. And now, hopefully you can see kind of a strange love in my eyes. Before, when I'd speak of this, you'd see nothing but hate. Just hate. Oh, did I want my piece of flesh. And I figured one man I was 4 and he was probably in his high 30s at the very least, more like 42 or so. By now he's long dead. So I can't get my piece of flesh out of him. But his son I've been looking for all these years. I found him. I know right where he's at. And boy, was I willing to head there and take care of the problem. And then suddenly I realized how stupid of me. All these years. This man now might have even forgotten what it was all about that caused the problem. Might have. And maybe, I go to him and I punch him out. Or talk to him first and then punch him out. He's about 3 years older. I can take on that guy. Yeah. And but that was my intention, really nail that mother. He caused me great grief. But he might not remember it. What the heck am I doing punching out a guy that doesn't even have the memory or the pleasure of the memory, if he wants it that way? I'm doing nothing but hurting myself, and guess what? I am healing. I am finally healing. And I have loosed that hate. And I have apologized to the Father, who's probably in the heavens. He made it, I'm sure. And they're not dead, they're here. They might not be able to answer. But I got him apologized to. I don't have the son's phone number or address, but I know where he lives, up in Alaska. And hopefully someday I'm going to take that to him. Confess your sins one to another. There's probably Catholics here, and here I go again. But I mentioned to Minister Nori, going to confessing to the dweeb in the box. I could not for the life of me remember the word confessional. And the Catholics have their traditional way. You're supposed to confess your disobedience to someone. So they do it by going to a pastor in a little wooden double thing box. From what I've seen on TV, I've never been to it. But that's all fine and good, and you're raised to believe that that's going to make you better. And so you do feel better when he says, go do so many Hail Marys or whatever they do. But does it help the person that you hold resentment to? Or somebody you cause resentment? Does it? No. But if you go to that particular person and say, you did something 35 years ago that it has ripped me apart, and I wanted to rip you apart, that person may remember it and say, you know what, I remember and I am so sorry. And you say to that person, I am sorry I've held it against you. Or that person say, I don't remember a thing about it. Maybe apologize, maybe not. Or that person might remember and say, well, tough. That's that person's fault. That person is responsible for that one. You are responsible to you. You get right. Go to the person. You might be able to help that person grow spiritually. But you certainly will, by doing what Dad says, help you get right spiritually and in the long run, physically. So, any questions?